Bartlett, and this is my research partner, Amari Patterson. Today we're going to be talking about digital distortions. We're going to be examining the impact of spreadable misogynoir on the identity formation of black women.
So our project is about how this paper will explore stereotypes in popular media and how this can affect the perception of black women. Our research gap is our study is kind of unique because this is regarding intersectionality and self-image of black women. And our theory used symbolic interactionism, which is about how people interact with everyday items in their lives.
So for our literature review, we decided to focus on two main topics. The first one being inherent bias, which is basically understanding the historical aspects of stereotypes and how they influence how black women interact with each other and also view themselves. And for this study, we decided to focus on the trope of the angry black woman because we found that this was the most prominent one that we saw in our research. And then for our second one, it's social media. And social media is very big right now. Everybody's on it, more than television or film or books. So we decided that this would be our main focus today. And for our research questions, we had two. The first one is, to what extent do mediated archetypes and digital misogynoir influence the internal self-perception of black women? And for our second question, in what ways do black women perform communicative rescripting or altering their behavior to internally counteract these archetypes?
So our methodology, our participants, we had women 18 plus, was split between white and black women. So 6 white women and 6 black women. Our recruitment process was through emailing, social media, and recruitment through random polling. Our procedures were 12 interviews with the average length being about 18 minutes with data transcribed via Otter. And our data analysis, which used a thematic analysis of repetition, recurrence, and forcefulness.
And for our results, we decided that we found 3 main themes when we were looking at our responses. The first one was self-reflection. So many women found that they were looking into their own characteristics, behaviors, and they influenced the way that they acted towards others. And the next one was discrimination. We found that there were many different harmful stereotypes that caused women to look down on themselves and feel less than other races.
So for our last result, we looked at intersectionality, which is when women find an example of women who share similar characteristics to them to make them feel more seen. And the quote that we have from our paper is, there's a commentary YouTuber that is a woman, also gay, and has autism, so they feel very similar to them. And our research question answers, we had 2 of them, and we found significant evidence supporting our research questions. Number 1 was women who consume media are more likely to have different views of themselves, saying social media has an impact on them. And number 2 is, in response to how black women are treated on social media, they tend to try to avoid being a stereotype.
So for our discussion, we wanted to look at all 3 themes equally. So overall, we found significant evidence that media depictions of black women can change all women's perspectives of themselves. So for our first theme, intersectionality, women who saw similar depictions of themselves, not just by race, but also gender, sexuality, and physical ability, tend to be more comfortable with themselves and have more of a positive outlook on themselves. And then for our second one, discrimination, the more harmful stereotypes that were pushed onto black women, the more they tried to stay away from those stereotypes and change their behaviors, their look, and other characteristics about themselves. And then for our last one, self-reflection, the more media that was consumed, the more that women tend to look into their own behaviors to find characteristics that are either similar or different from the ones that they were seeing online.
So we have 3 limitations and 3 things for 3 future research. So our first limitation is cultural differences. These are women from different backgrounds who have different experiences outside of their own race. Comfortability, some of the white participants felt uneasy because 2 black women were interviewing them. And for question clarity of questions led to less accurate answers. Sometimes we weren't as clear as we thought we were. And for future research, we could do a more Afrocentric approach, focusing solely on black women. And further exploration of intersectionality, maybe narrowing down our specific subcategories black teenage mothers, black teenagers, for instance. And the oversaturation of white content on social media, how much is too much content of the same woman to the point they don't feel unique about their own experience?
And finally, for our discussion, we had 2 key takeaways for this. The first one being the depiction of black women in media have an effect on all women, not just black women. We felt as though women were more likely to feel differently about themselves the more that they saw different types of media. And then for our second takeaway, we saw that discrimination can be found in many forms. There are ways that people are discriminated against when it comes to body type, hair texture, all types of characteristics that you wouldn't even think about, but all that ties back to race. So for this study, we thought that it would be important to focus on these things, and we thank you all for watching.